Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a very interesting and somewhat problematic big box of Weber. Now, a bunch of you have talked about why doesn't Weber get as much attention as he deserves, and it's really a problem. The reason is because his output is all over the place and kind of fragmentary, and no single label seems to have embraced it in the way where they do complete editions and things. People just aren't interested in Weber much beyond, his clarinet music and Der Freischütz, the opera. Otherwise, it's all very occasional, but it's good music and it's important music. It's the dawn of German Romanticism. In fact, this is Weber, the spirit of German Romanticism. So there you go. So Warner has gathered together this particular set. It has, it's hard to even see, I think 17 CDs, 18 CDs. 18 CDs, including 3 of historical recordings, some of which are more historical than others. We'll get to that in a moment. And we're going to go through it. And you'll see exactly where its strengths and weaknesses lie. I admire them for putting this together. I think it's recommendable because there's just so little Weber out there that you can get in a chunk in one place if you're interested in Weber. But on the other hand, there are better performances of a lot of things. And you see just how patchy the Warner catalog really is, and how cheaply they're starting to put these things together. Because you get this little booklet, and it does have a work list at the end. And it tells you what CD everything is on, which is okay, I guess. But that's all. And then you have to look at the discs themselves, and they are somewhat puzzlingly arranged in spots. So just a second, all right, we get this open. And let's go through it. Orchestral Music 1. This consists of the Philharmonia Wolfgang Sawallisch disc of overtures, which is lovely. It's 7 overtures, plus they add Peter Schmal with the Bamberg Symphony under Theodor Guschelbauer. And you also get the Invitation to the Dance in Berlioz's arrangement with the Paris Conservatory Orchestra under André Cluitins, which is wonderful. So that's nice to have. Let's not kid ourselves. It's good. Then we've got Orchestral Music 2, Concertante Music 1 on CD number 2. These are very well filled CDs. Many of them play for about 80 minutes or more. I have to give them credit for that. They're not trying to redo everything on original jackets and spread it all out as much as possible so they can charge you more per disc. So we've got the 2 symphonies. Sadly, the 2 symphonies are with the London Classical Players under Roger Norrington. Now, these, of course, are completely sterile. They're sort of romps all over them in a mindless kind of way. But see, the thing is that Warner doesn't have Weber symphonies. He's not readily. Maybe some of you can think of one, but the first person I thought of course, was Neville Marriner, because he recorded them twice. He did them for Vanguard very early on in his career, and then he redid them for ASV, which is owned by Universal. So I think right now it is anyway. So there was no ready-to-hand Weber symphony disc other than Norrington's. However, to their credit, they did not include the Concertstück for piano and orchestra, which was on that Norrington disc with Melvin Tan, which was an absolutely grotesque performance. They gave us Claudio Arrau. Thank you. With the Philharmonia under Alceo Galliera. Thank God. So we get Arrau there. And then you've got the Horn Concertina with Barry Tuckwell and Neville Marriner. We should have done the symphonies. That's the problem with Weber. Even the majors did not systematically explore his catalog. And there's another big issue we'll talk about later. So then we've got all the clarinet stuff. The 2 clarinet concertos in the Concertino, the bassoon concerto and the Andante and Rondo Ungherese in C minor with Sabina Meyer clarinet and the Staatskapelle Dresden and Herbert Blomstedt. Well, that's marvelous. Paul Hongny is the bassoonist with Guschelbauer and Bamberg. And then we've got Les Solistes du Montpellier Moscou with Gérard Cozet, viola and conductor. Okay, well, those are fine. And then we've got, let's see, some piano music on CD4. only two of the four piano sonatas. Well, you get bits of the first piano sonata, but you only get two of the four piano sonatas here, numbers 2 and 4, performed by Thierry de Brunhoff and Paul Crossley, respectively. They're not bad performances. I'm not complaining about that. But there needed to be more systematic treatment of the piano music. And there's no piano music for two hands, which is wonderful, and which is the stuff that Hindemith used in his symphonic metamorphoses, or at least most of it. So you've got the Rondo Brillant in E flat and the Invitation to the Dance for piano. That's nice. CD 5 is chamber music. Well, here things are much stronger, thank goodness. You've got the clarinet quintet, the variations on a theme from Sylvana, the grand duo concertant for clarinet and piano, the clarinet quintet in B flat major, which is the version for clarinet and string orchestra, with Gervais de Paillet clarinet and members of the Melos ensemble. I mean, they're lovely performances. Gerald Moore's the pianist, and then bits of this stuff, and it's all very well done. Sabina Meyer pops up again. We're all in good shape. Chamber Music Volume 2. The Grand Duo Concertant in E flat for violin and piano. Some violin sonata bits. The Trio for flute, cello, and piano. The Adagio and Rondo for two clarinets, two horns, two bassoons, and double bass. That's a hoot. It's only 4 minutes long, but it's marvelous. A waltz in E flat major for flute and two clarinets, two horns, two bassoons, and trumpet. How's that for an unusual combination? It's also only 2 minutes long. 4 songs by Duke Leopold August of Gotha for flute, two clarinets, two horns, and two bassoons. And the Concertino in C major for oboe solo, flute, 4 clarinets, 2 horns, 3 bassoons, trumpet, trombone, and double bass. It's a lot of work for only 7 minutes of music. Anyway, Gideon Kramer and Andrei Gavrilov are here, and Ida Hendel and Jeffrey Parsons and Consortium Classicum. I mean, they're all really fine performances. And the music's interesting, and you won't have heard some of it. CD 7 consists of transcriptions and arrangements by other people. A very curious disc, and some of these things, they give the performers on the front because there's just too much information on the back, as you can see. These transcriptions and arrangements, we don't need to go into in any great detail. We just don't. I mean, that's what they are. They're not extraordinarily interesting or meaningful, but it was nice that they're included. Then we've got, let's see, works after Weber. Okay, so you've got Liszt's Polonaise Brillante for piano and orchestra after Weber's Polacca Brillante. We got Wagner at Weber's grave for men's chorus a cappella, which is like boring. His funeral symphony for wind orchestra based on motives from Oriente. Well, that's interesting. Paul Taffanel's Fantasy on der Freischütz for flute and orchestra, orchestrated by somebody else. And then the Hindemith Symphonic Metamorphosis. It's Eugene Ormandy in the Philly performance, which is marvelous, except for that one little tiny oboe flub in the first movement, when the oboe's supposed to go ya-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, bum-ba, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and instead the oboist goes ya-da-dum, bum-ba. You'd never notice it unless you had a score. Anyway, this is a nice disc. Of course, the greatest after Weber work is Mahler's opera, Die Drei Pintos, but Warner doesn't have that. BMG does. It's an RCA recording, and it's a wonderful piece, too. Boy, that would have been fun. Maybe they could have licensed it. Well, they weren't going to spend any money on it. Who are we kidding? CD 9. Okay, Lieder. We've got a bunch of Lieder sung by Hermann Prey. Self-recommending. Beautiful disc, 20 titles of various songs. Of course, no texts, no translations, but beggars can't be choosers. Choral music, his 2 Missa Sanctae. There are 2 of them. There's Missa Sancta number 1 in E flat major, also known as the Freischütz Messe, and number 2, the Jubel Messe. And these are lovely works that nobody knows. And there's also a incidental music from Preciosa, Erwacht mit ihrer Pracht, the Gypsies chorus, in other words. Done by the Horst Stein is the conductor, who was a wonderful conductor, as you know, in the first Mass. And who's the last one? Hans, 1 through 7, yeah, who's 8 through, trying to figure out how they do these things. Yes, instrumental ensemble Werner Kellisch under Gerhard Wilhelm. Well, nobody knows who those people are. Nobody cares. Okay, fine. So now we have operas. Abu Hassan with Savalish. This is sort of a classic. Lovely performance. Very well sung. Is there anyone we know about? Yeah, Nikolai Gedda's in here, and Edda Moser and Kurt Mall. You know, all the good people. Then we've got Freischütz. The Freischütz is Harnoncourt's. The Harnoncourt Freischütz, which was a little bizarre. I mean, it wasn't like anyone's favorite Freischütz, but it's not terrible. And it's got, let's see, Wolfgang Holzmer and Gilles Kashmai and Lubo Organasova. I mean, tiny print that's the same color as the background. Here we go. Lubo Organasova. I got it right. Christine Schaefer, Maddie Salmon, who's a very good cast, so that's okay. So you've got the Freischütz here, which is respectable, and Oberon, which is lovely. Of course, the great Oberon's the one on Deutsche Grammophon with Birgit Nielsen and all of those people. This is the one with James Conlon that was on, I think it was on Errato, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe EMI. But it's nice. It's good to have. But the one thing missing that they don't have, and this is curious, is Oriente. And the problem with Oriente is that they had on EMI, because I owned it, the Jesse Norman complete recording on 3 discs. It's a big opera. It's Weber's most complete, most musically sophisticated and richest opera, even if it's, because of the stupid plot and stage stuff, it's almost unperformable. But it's a very rich and beautiful score. The problem is, as far as I can tell, is that wonderful Jesse Norman performance was actually licensed from Berlin Classics. It was owned by, Deutsche Schallplatten, I think, East German, because it was with the Staatskapelle Dresden. And it appeared on EMI and Berlin Classics, and now it's on Brilliant Classics, licensed. So obviously EMI didn't own the copyright, and so it's not in this set. And that's a big lacuna. I mean, you don't want lacunae. I mean, that's really sort of surprising because I'm sure a lot of you might have expected it would be there. But no, it isn't. Then we've got 3 discs of historical recordings with all kinds of stuff. I mean, you've got, Freischütz overtures, beginning with Arthur Nikisch and the London Symphony from like the dawn of time. And let's see who else is in here. Toscanini with the BBC Symphony, Fort Wengler of the Vienna Phil, Erich Kleiber. I mean, some really classic people here. Karl Bohm, the Halle, and Barbaroli doing the Oriente Overture, sort of scruffily. And Oberon is with Zell and the London Phil. So yeah, I mean, the historical stuff is fun. Then you've got like disc 2. Disc 2 is all concerto stuff. I mean, concerto stuff, the Second Piano Sonata and other things. With let's see, the Orchestre de la Garde Républicaine under César Bourgeois. Robert Casadesus piano, let's see, Galen Brooks bassoon, the Liverpool Philharmonic, and Malcolm Sargent, Schnabel, or Arthur Schnabel, Benno Moiseievich, Alfred Cortot, Wilhelm Backhaus, doing little piano bits, including the finale of First Piano Sonata, which is a perpetual motion presto rondo thing that's very fun. Listen to it; it's just great. They should have given us the whole first sonata because you get another performance of the second sonata here. So yeah, and then you've got Kreisler doing his arrangements of various Weber pieces and some vocal stuff and bits of Freischütz with people like Lotte Lehmann is singing in here, I think. And she's up there on the front here. See, so we have to do it this way. It's with all kinds of Gregor Piatigorsky and Lotte Lehmann and Peter Anders and just, famous Tiana Lemnitz. Oh, gee whiz, Luba Valic. Some great stuff, doing Freischütz excerpts and things. So there you go. That's the historical stuff. And that's the box. It is certainly worth getting. It is uneven. It's uneven because, like I said, the Weber discography is uneven. It's not like we usually go through these things and talk about how stupid all the choices were and how the label has tons of everything and they could have selected better things and, made, smarter selections and compiling the set. They really couldn't have. They really could have. This is basically what they have. And fortunately, a lot of what they have is very good. So, go for it and count your blessings. That's basically all I have to say about it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.